Hello, everybody, and welcome to our PHUSE webinar Wednesday. It is the fourth Wednesday in February 2020, and this is our second webinar this year. The next webinar will be the fourth Wednesday in March. It'll be on March 25th. It's my honor and pleasure to be here to host this webinar this month on behalf of the PHUSE board. My name is Chris Hurley. I am America's Director of PHUSE, and I am here in snowy Michigan at MMS Holdings. That's my day job. And I'm privileged enough to be on the agenda here with some great people. We have Mouly Satyavarapu. He's in North Carolina at Syneos. He is the US Connect Chair, and he'll be talking about the US Connect. We have Garrett in the UK. He's at Achieve Intelligence, and he's going to give us an update on the US Connect leadership stream. And then we have Eric Herbel from Integrated Clinical Systems. Eric's in New Jersey. Those are the guys that create JReview. And he's going to be talking about subject level data review summary report using visualization. So a pretty good agenda here today, and I'm looking forward to hearing these guys. We have 11 days to go for our US Connect. Now, I don't want to steal any of Mouly's thunder, but I would like to talk about the top 5 reasons to attend. We'll have regulatory agencies like the FDA and standard development organizations like CDISC, and they will be there at the event. So if you're coming, find them and ask questions and learn about these people and what they're doing. It's really great to spark up a conversation in person with these folks. Now, these conferences, they get better each time, and we have talks on many innovative solutions. Now, PHUSE doesn't endorse one application over another, but we do have a lot of exhibitors and sponsors, and they'll be giving great presentations at their booths and maybe in the software development stream, and even the FDA challenge. This is our first year with the FDA challenge, so you'll want to see that. Now, there's lots of opportunities for networking to meet and expand the network of people that are in attendance. So one of the most excellent things about the PHUSE conferences are all the opportunities to share experiences with people. You know, we have the Sunday night poster session. Those are always fun. The Monday night event, you know, Tuesday night, we've got a good poker tournament. Lots of things going on. It's a very high quality event. It's a great venue. We have excellent presenters, the best exhibitors and sponsors in the business, and all of you awesome attendees. If you're coming, I look forward to seeing you. Also, while you're there, if there are any issues or anything, you know that you notice, maybe you're uncomfortable with the temperature or something, go see one of the staff. You know, they're easy to find. You know, they're usually wearing the PHUSE polo shirts. You know, or talk to a board member. You know, we're here for you. We're here for each other to have the best conference ever. And probably one of my favorite reasons to go right now is just to get out of the snow. Right now I'm in Michigan, and you can see here on the left, this was taken about 10 minutes ago right outside of my office window. So I'm looking forward to the trees on the right, the sunshine, and Orlando. So if you are coming to the conference, we have the PHUSE app. We're using the PHUSE app extensively now. So it's a really good idea, you know, download the app, but upload your picture. So for guys like me who are very bad with names and faces, you know, if you don't want to upload the picture for yourself, do it for guys like me who just sometimes can't remember your name or your face, and save me the embarrassment. So yeah, it's good. And I didn't put this picture up here just because I'm number 2 on the leaderboard. So I just wanted to show some nice faces here. We have a computational science symposium every year, and this is our 9th year. Incredible. It's a great event. We have keynote speakers from the FDA. We have workshops. This is the opportunity. It's a different type of conference. It's the opportunity to work with those on your work groups. If you're on a working group for PHUSE, this is your chance to get there in person and work with somebody. And it's so much different than any other conference. So working together is always, to me, more rewarding when you're working face to face than on some teleconference. We have registration and call for posters opening up on March 2nd. There are still some sponsorship and exhibition opportunities available, and there are lots of great collaboration. So again, this is on June 7th through 9th. It's in Silver Spring. It's a wonderful city, and it's a wonderful event. Okay, let's talk about Liverpool. Okay, so to get to Liverpool from here, from Michigan, I had to fly to Manchester, and then I'll be taking a train. So I'm not sure if you guys can get a direct flight, but definitely check. We have call for papers opening in less than a week. Registration opens on April 1st. And again, there are plenty of good exhibition and sponsorship opportunities that are still available. And then one of the special things about Liverpool is the birthplace of the Beatles, right? And that makes me think back to the British invasion. And I was born right at the end of that British invasion, and I grew up listening to the Animals, the Kinks, the Who, the Stones, the Yardbirds. The Yardbirds, what a band! Perhaps the greatest guitar rock legends ever. Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, and Jeff Beck. So much talent coming out of the UK there, just incredible. And now to talk about some of the talent here on this side of the pond, and in a way Sergeant Pepper might know. I guess I could say, let me introduce to you Mouly Satyavarapu. So Mouly, I'm going to give you the helm, and you can go ahead and talk about the Connect conference.
Thank you, Chris. Yep, thank you, sir. All right. So let me put this in slideshare mode so that it's easier to look at. Can you guys see the slides?
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I would like to thank PHUSE for giving me the opportunity to kind of go through the highlights of the event. So as Chris alluded, less than 2 weeks to go, and we have the US Connect 2020, the annual conference in Orlando. Yeah, sunny Florida. So this I think Chris already mentioned that the US Connects are getting better every year. This would be the third one coming up, and we have 2 inspirational keynote speakers. Of the 14 Connect streams that we had finalized, we have excellent 160 presentations that we had to shortlist. It was tough, but yeah, there will be 160 presentations and about 30 posters displayed for you guys to go through. And then each evening we have about 1 social event, a total of 3 social events. I'm going to go into the details. This is really the highlights, kind of like agenda on what I'm going to go through. And then we have the summit, Executive Pharma and CRO/Provider Summit. Then the first couple of days, well, I shouldn't say first couple of days, the first 2 full days of the conference, we're going to have the PHUSE/FDA Innovation Challenge, and we're really excited because the demand, and in fact, the questions that we are receiving about this Innovation Challenge has been great, so we are looking forward to that. And of course, without exhibitors, sponsors, it's so difficult to come up with an event, and at this magnitude. So we do have about 45 exhibitors and sponsors, and then starting this US Connect, we are introducing the new PHUSE app. So I'm going to go through the details of each and every topic. So moving on to the keynote speakers. On Monday, March 9th, we will have Michael Rogers, who is going to cover the future of healthcare, is data. So a little bit of background, and of course, there's a lot more. And when you attend the event, you will come to know more about Milo. Is He's the best-selling author, technology pioneer, and futurist, a person who also serves as futurist in residence for the New York Times. So looking forward to this great speakers keynote on Monday. Then on Tuesday, Ricky Calvin. So he would be kind of showing us on how to leverage your or change your mindset, leverage your mindset. So he is a mindset expert, motivational speaker, and celebrity hypnotist. So as I mentioned, he's going to emphasize on how you could change your mindset, the way you live, work, and think. So that's on Tuesday, March 10th. Then some of the social events that we're going to have is starting on Sunday, March 8th at 7 p.m. We will have the poster session. I mentioned that there are about 30 posters, and you will have those displayed. Authors will be next to each poster. So while sipping through those drinks, you can ask any questions that you may have related to the topic, the great topics that we had shortlisted. And that's going to be followed by a buffet dinner. And this event is sponsored by Indigo Group, as you see here. Then on Monday at 6 p.m., Monday, March 9th, at 6 p.m., we're going to have the Connect dinner. And as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, the keynote speaker for Tuesday, Ricky Calvin, he's also going to be presenting his comedy show. So fun. That Monday evening, we will have some good stuff to laugh about and so forth. Followed by that event, the second event, the third event we have is the Poker Night, sponsored by Vita Data Sciences. Yeah, I mean, we all would love to bring our technical skills, talk about what we do on a daily basis at work with folks across the industry and so forth, but not just that. You could bring your card skills too. I mean, it could be Texas Hold'em or whatever. That evening, you will get an opportunity to kind of roll up your sleeves, bring your card skills, have fun, mingle with people around. Yeah, so it's a great way, kind of like the final event, to enjoy with everyone who is attending the conference. This is important. So we have been kind of having these summits at the US and EU Connects, and there are some really good discussions among the executives from various organizations. So we're going to have two separate summits. So one, executives from pharma, and the other one is CRO/provider or vendor, however you want to call it. But yeah, it's like CRO provider vendor summit. So since this is only for executives to have a good discussion, to strategize on what are the topics in the industry that we need to focus on and so forth. Unfortunately, it is by invitation only. It's not for everyone. But just to highlight on what will be covered during these summits is it kind of creates a solid think tank by the executives who are thought leaders, who bring a lot of decades of knowledge, expertise that they have seen in their organizations that they currently work or in the past they worked with. And then they're going to share, advance on some of the key topics, which is going to influence on what needs to be done in our industry, the future of clinical development and data science. Is there anything that we are missing out on? Is there any new technological, innovative stuff that we need to discuss about and so forth? So from the outcome of these summits have been excellent, and this we will continue to do so since the response and the outcome, as I said, is great. So we will continue to have these summits at the conferences. Then introducing PHUSE/FDA Data Science Innovation Challenge. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this on, yeah, as I said, 2 full days, March 9th, Monday, and Tuesday, March 10th. So this innovation challenge kind of provides an opportunity, a framework for all the great minds. Every one of us have an amazing mind. We bring something new to the table every day. So yeah, this is an opportunity where you could bring in what you're doing at work, maybe some idea collaborate on the projects. So some of the, so projects that you could propose and could address some of the challenges that we face right now. It could be opioid / substance use disorder, drug safety surveillance, approach for predicting drug interactions, etc., etc. So anything that you bring to this innovation challenge, present it, and kind of discuss through with others who are attending. It will be an amazing experience to come to this challenge, innovation challenge that we will have on 9th and 10th of March. All right. Any event, I mean, at this magnitude, of course, cannot be conducted well without the exhibitors and sponsors. So we do have 4 platinum sponsors as listed here: Accenture, Navitas, Data Sciences, Pinnacle 21, and Deloitte. And we are really looking forward to the booths. There are about 45 exhibitors. So various organizations who will be sponsoring to kind of share what they bring to the industry, what they have to offer to every user who is attending the event. So it will be fun to have 45 booths with varied information shared from each organization on what they do. I had alluded earlier that this will be the first time at US Connect that we will have PHUSE app. So of course, the scan codes, the QR codes that we will have is so beneficial, quick, sleek, that we could leverage. But why did we even think about this? It makes the Connect, the conference, easier, more interactive, efficient. So kind of some of the things that you could leverage from this app is create your own agenda with most up-to-date information. Kind of go through the presentation, not only just the topic, but also author details, maybe their bio. Hopefully they have uploaded their bio onto the PHUSE app. And maps. Maybe you're lost and you're trying to look for a room where the next session is being conducted, and attend. We want to, as I said, view the attendees' profiles and so forth. You want to set alerts for the sessions that you are interested in attending. So maybe in between the sessions you have some time and would like to go through sponsor and exhibitor profiles and decide on which ones of those 45 plus, which ones really you want to focus on and quickly try to cover. And then don't forget the fun part. All the pictures that you take with maybe ex-colleagues that you are meeting after years at the conference, or you made good friends at the conference. So any of that could be uploaded through the photo sharing option, and of course all the social media feeds. So it is awesome. We are looking forward to leverage this PHUSE app and to see how else we could enhance this moving forward. So it's fun. Okay, with that, I want to again remind it's less than 2 weeks that we have the upcoming US Connect in Orlando, Florida at the SeaWorld Renaissance. So looking forward to meeting every one of you. Hopefully you can attend. So guys, see you in Florida. Now I think I'm passing it on to Guy to cover the leadership stream.
Thanks
you, everyone.
Mouly. I was rather hoping I'd have a singing introduction as well, like Chris gave you, but but then I'd have to sing to introduce Eric. So it's probably not a good idea.
Well, you don't want to hear my singing introduction.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Right. Well, great. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to explain today what we're doing at the leadership stream this year at US Connect 20. What I'm just going to do is give you a bit of an overview of the stream and the sessions within the stream, and just explain the topic that we're tackling this year, and just give you a bit of an overview of the stream itself. I'm not sure whether many people have aware that anyone is welcome to the stream. So I wanted just to make sure that everyone gets a good flavour of what's going on. So there's 3 stream chairs. Simon Walsh is from Janssen, myself, and Karen Curran is Vice President of Biometrics from CSG. Karen has been on the leadership stream since it's been running, the last couple of years, I believe. So we're in good hands with Karen. And each of us look after one particular session in the stream. So the stream itself is only on one day. It's Monday the 9th of March, and it consists of 3 sessions. So it's slightly different from the other streams where we have lots of papers presented and lots of people contributing to that as a sort of speaker from the front. These are much more sort of collaborative sessions, workshop sessions, design thinking sessions, and panel sessions. So it's more of a working scenario, really. You have to excuse me, I've got UK man flu, so I'm going to be coughing and spluttering through this. Hang on. Sorry, I just went on mute because you didn't want to hear that. Yeah, so our theme this year is about innovation, and it's really exciting to see. I think we're at a very opportunistic time in the industry. Obviously, the FDA challenge is an innovation challenge as well. So just to clarify, we're different from that challenge that Mouly was talking about. This is more focused on the industry and how we can innovate and what the barriers are to innovation within our current setup. So we're going to try and understand some of those problems, some of those topics, and talk around that to try and help us innovate within our section. So as I said, there's 3 sessions. The first session is LE01, and these are all on your PHUSE app. So if you go in and do a search on LE01, 02, or 03, you'll be able to see the abstract talking around what each of these sessions are. So the first session, which Simon is chairing, is the experience sharing workshop, and that runs from 11 till 12:30. So bring your coffee and your cakes from after the keynotes on Monday and come along to the session there. The second session, which I'm chairing, is Brainstorm the Future of Innovation. And we're delighted that the design thinking group from Educating for the Future working group will be running a design thinking session around the innovation topic. And that's a 2-hour session from 1:30 to 3:30, which brings us nicely up to another coffee break. And then after coffee, LE03 is the Innovation Trends panel discussion chaired by Karen. And we've got some fantastic thought leaders from our industry, senior people in the industry, to talk through their experiences about innovation and offer some tips and questions answered. So as I said before, everyone is welcome to this stream. It's not, you don't have to have leader in your job title or manager or even or anything. It's just if you're interested in innovation and interested in leading from wherever you are, really. So please do come along and experience what we've got to offer. I'm just going to break down each of these sessions quickly so you can get a flavour for what's going on. In the first session, the Experience Sharing Workshop, there'll be a little bit of scene setting, a bit of an introduction as to what we'll be doing in that session. We've got a very brief but insightful talk from Francis Kendall, who's VP of FSP at Sitel. He'll be talking about the philosophy of sharing experiences and how we can open up and discuss some of our customer experiences around innovation. And then we'll be breaking out into 2 sections. And here there's a loosely defined structure of, if you're an individual or team leader, you may be interested in going into one breakout session. And if you're a management or an organization leader, then going into another breakout session. And the idea there is to a talk around the group. It will be very informal, but very flexible, but also quite, with a nice structure around it, to work through some of these topics, some of these challenges, some of these questions, and we'll be gathering information as we go through the process to really find out what are our experiences with innovating within our current space. And this kind of builds up and starts leading on to the next session. So the thing about this stream is that each session, although they're separate sessions, they do actually build quite nicely one upon the other. So you may want to consider coming for the whole day and building upon your experiences as you go. The second session is the design thinking session. So this is focusing around 4 specific problem statements. So the problem statement around fragmented thinking in our industry, fragmented working, whether we work separately in silos and certain teams might not talk to other teams and all of those problems. The challenge of innovating but whilst continuing business as usual. And also challenges around industry and regulator partnerships. So these are kind of 4 problem statements which were essentially derived out of last year's leadership stream. There was a design thinking session then where we came up with these problem statements. But what we'll be doing this year is looking to solutionize or ideate, I believe is the phrase in design thinking terminology, to come up with some solutions for how can we innovate around the fragmented working issue. So we'll be defining how might we statements, which is a fun way of reframing a problem from being all negative, oh, we never talk to each other, we're all fragmented, to, oh, how can we leverage the differences between us to get synergy, for instance, how might we? There'll be things called museum walks, which sound absolutely fascinating, but I've no idea what they are. I do know really. Lots of post-it notes flying around, lots of thoughts generated, lots of chatter and discussion. And we've also got Jenga. So, there's lots of fun in this session as well. But really what we'll be generating out of this is our thoughts and our ideas to try and solve some of the problems that we may be facing. So then after coffee, the final session is the very popular panel discussion, which has been running now for the last 2 years. We've got a superb lineup of people who are very kindly given their time to come onto the panel, which Karen is chairing. So we have Del Jones from GSK, Benedict from Bayer, Eric from AbbVie, and Lillian from the FDA. We also have Mike McDevitt from Syneos. So these 5 people will be answering questions that Karen has generated over the last few months, all around the innovation issue, to really get their thoughts on how they've overcome innovation issues and challenges in their time. I mean, this is a fantastic opportunity to see some really experienced people within our industry give their views and insights and thoughts around how to deal with innovation. So I'd highly recommend coming to that session. The beauty of this also is that they're very happy to stick around afterwards and chat and have a coffee and network as well. So really fantastic opportunity to meet these people. So that's the panel discussion. We're also, this year's something slightly new to the previous years, is we actually want to try and gather all of the information that we've generated, all of the thoughts that we've come up with, all of the solutions we may have generated, and collate that information together in a post-conference follow-up. So we're actually going to have optional sign-up sheets. We've checked with legal and everything's fine. So you feel free to add your name to a sign-up sheet. We will then collate, as the stream chairs, we'll collate all of the results from all of the sessions. So we'll be writing things down, gathering the post-it notes and putting it into a formal kind of document. And then the PHUSE office very kindly said that they will publish that out to the people that sign up to this sheet. So it might be a white paper, it may be a PowerPoint deck. We're not entirely sure. It depends how the day goes. That's what's quite exciting. But the idea is that it won't just be something that we do at a conference and it was all fun and nice, but we may actually get some really interesting topics and action points that we can drive out of this. So that's what we'll be doing this year. Crucially, the most important part of this is having people like you come to the event. Okay, so these leadership stream sessions are very collaborative, very relaxed, very inspirational. So, but we need you. So please do come along. If you fancy letting us know that you're coming along, then please do drop us a line, perhaps on the PHUSE app. We're going to be putting a post in the PHUSE app stream shortly with a link to a separate page about the leadership stream, which we're just putting together now. So maybe leave a comment on that. What's it called? A PHUSE tweet? I don't know what the activity stream. That's what it's called. Let us know that you're coming. And yeah, we're going to have a fantastic time, and hopefully see you there. So I think, yes, that's me done, and I shall hand you over to Eric without any singing. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, thanks, Guy. Hi, folks. This is Eric Herbel. This segment is going to be a little different. It's not so much, or completely different, actually, from the previous discussions, which were great, and what's coming up in conferences and so on. That's really good to hear. A lot of things happening over the next few months. This segment is different in that it's more of a status report, or letting you know one of the results of one of the many working groups and subgroups that go on within PHUSE. So I've been a member and a co-lead of one of the subgroups that's part of the data visualization team, and the subgroup, actually there are 3 subgroups of the data visualization team over the last couple of years, and one of which was to take a look at methods and functionality and preferences and so on in the area of data visualization for subject level data review. So it was very focused. It was not data visualization in general, which some people have suggested just yesterday in a call, saying, oh, this is great, after we talk about what we've done in terms of white paper. And the suggestion is, oh, that's great. Now can we expand it to data visualization and say, yikes, that's a big, big area. But in any event, what we did was focus in on just specifically looking at patient level data in one patient at a time method. It's very different than I think a lot of times think in terms of data visualization, of looking for outliers with a scatter plot or a Heis law chart, or different ways of looking at patient data in a study, picking up trends, outliers, and so on. The next step typically, though, is, well, once you find patients of interest, then what? And this group was focused on what are typical patterns that we see for looking at those patients, and they were broken up into 3 general areas that we saw people doing things in. One was a graphical patient profile, a time-oriented graphical patient profile. Another was a tabular patient profile, or case summaries, which present one patient at a time data for selected tables and items. And then the last was generating patient narratives, more pulling out different information for each patient, but putting it more in a narrative form. So what we've done over the last couple of years is to actually, first of all, getting together, that was not a huge team, maybe 5 to 10 people typically in the early days, to come up with different topics, different areas that we thought were of interest in this space, and then started to brainstorm in terms of the ways that we thought that people were doing this. And then what we did as a result of that, based on input from the different team members, is that we conducted a survey, just like everybody's conducting surveys. So the first survey was actually done back in December of 2017, which essentially the survey was sent out to all members of the Emerging Trends Working Group, and it was basically soliciting information on, well, what do people do in this area? What tools are they using? What approach are they using? And so on. And the result of that was summarized and then presented as a poster session to the 2018 PHUSE CSS conference in Silver Spring. But it was a high-level discussion about, well, here's what people are doing, here's what people are using in terms of tools or approaches. And of course, that immediately led to, well, boy, we'd sure like to dig in a little bit more to get into more of the details of that. And so we came up with another survey, a second survey follow-up. But we decided to, rather than send this survey out to the working group in that sense, we put together questions that we were interested in, sort of digging into the details of each of the areas that people had responded to, and then we had a series of standard questions and functionality areas for each of the three areas. And what we did was we presented that by way of a presentation to one of the data visualization working group sessions. And during the session, actually solicited feedback from basically on the fly voting by members of that were attending the session, and gathered that information. Well, it was not a huge amount of input, but it was decent. But we definitely got good information from that. But opportunity presented itself that one of the PHUSE single day event in Cincinnati last year, in October of last year. Some of the folks Chris had asked if I would do a presentation on the results and the findings of this working group, and said, oh, sure, that sounds great. So basically it presented the same presentation that had been done during that second survey, and I did the same thing, but in this case, did an interactive show of hands of voting for different levels of importance for each of the functionalities. So interactively receiving that the feedback. So we had basically 3 surveys during the course of that time, and then the fun task of putting it all together as a white paper. So we've done that, and it's been published on the PHUSE website. And let me go. Let's see. Let me go get out of this and show you. If just in case you're not aware of where these things are, there's a ton of white papers, a lot of work that has been done by different working groups in PHUSE. So if you first go to the main PHUSE website, phuse.eu, and then click on the working groups area, then you'll see that along the way there's all kinds of information about the organization and so on. And specific working groups. If you click on the deliverables link, there's a huge number of white papers that have been published. And lo and behold, here's in the emerging trends and technologies area, this is the white paper that was the result of these various surveys. One thing that's a little different than other white papers, the white paper itself which was after we finished writing the white paper and then submitting it, and it was reviewed and so on. Then it was reformatted by the folks at PHUSE, and I guess the folks that do this took a really nice job of. This is a really professional, nice published presentation of the white paper. So it looks great, easy to read, and so on. So, but what's a little different is that the white paper is in the form of course, the findings and the background and the whole topic of discussing essentially the results of the first summary, which were these for each of the graphical patient profile and tabular patient profile and the patient summary, the basically which products different companies were using or different approaches. In some cases, doing things in SAS programming or R. In other cases, using commercial products, including our product, which was nice, but also other products that are used. But and then the second part of this got into the topic of, well, what were some of the functional capabilities that we thought were important to dig into, and the results or the findings of these. So, and each of these basically were different questions about functionality, and the results of these were basically a rating scale. As usual thing is to each of those, we asked the folks to rank them, whether it's critical all the way down to not needed, so a 1 to 5 scale. So that's what we've done, and we actually did that exercise twice. The first was during the working group presentation and then interactive feedback, and then secondly during the Cincinnati single-day event in October of last year, and came up with the results that were tabulated. And instead of, it occurred to me that rather than sort of in high level described the results, and you can see a bunch of screenshots and examples of what we're talking about, in order to present the results in a form that we thought would be more useful to everybody, and actually put it into an Excel spreadsheet, and which can be sorted, resorted in a lot of different ways, depending on what the areas of interest that people are, because we thought, in a sense, this is good input to know about, but also good input for future product development, areas that that different folks thought were very important, and so on. So the idea was that here are each of the questions in the three general areas, but in the subcategories also. You can see graph patient profile, display use or data or exports, and tabular patient profile, the same thing, display or use, data and exporting, and so on. And each of these relate to a question or topic number that is in the white paper, but these are then the votes basically from the original survey, which was the data visualization working group survey, and then the Cincinnati single day event survey, with the ranking numbers, number of people that ranked at critical, like in this case, displaying reference ranges in the graph patient profile, 2 people ranked it as critical, and so on. And then we, in order to put these together, we added a ranking weight, ranking the critical higher and the not important lowest. And the end point of that was we came up with a weighted total for the original survey weighted value for the Cincinnati survey and the weighted total of both surveys together. So you get it, then resorted it so you get an idea of the results. But again, instead of just including the results in the white paper, we thought it would be more useful for the folks to be able to dig in and resort and so on. So that's what that's what we've done. We've finished that, and as I said initially, I thought, well, that's great. I think we've covered the area, we've dug into it pretty well. Of course, there's always new products and new approaches coming up, and some people would suggest, like, why don't we periodically revisit it? And that certainly is one possibility. And the other, as I mentioned and somewhat jokingly said, oh, this is great. Now, could we expand that to everything data visualization? Unfortunately, that's a gigantic topic. So I said, well, that sounds interesting. Good luck with that. But I'm not sure who could tackle that one. But in any event, that's the result of it. Encourage folks that are interested to go to the PHUSE website and click on this link that then pulls up this very nicely formatted white paper. And if you click on that, it brings up the downloads that Excel spreadsheet. So with that, I think that's taken more than 10 minutes for sure, but that's it got into a little bit more detail than I was hoping to. So with that, I think I'm all set. I'll turn it back to either Chris or the other folks.
Yeah, Lauren. Yeah, this is Chris. Yeah, thanks, Eric. That was wonderful, and it really was a wonderful event there in Cincinnati, and all the information you were able to get. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It worked out really well.
So now I guess we'll open it up for any questions. We've got a few minutes left here, so if you have any questions, go ahead and type into the chat box. Maybe we can answer your questions.
I have just dropped a question for you, Eric, into the chat box.
Okay, let me. Good question. Yeah, the question is, was a user role also captured in the data review surveys? And unfortunately, no. Good idea. We had just asked the folks in general, and the presumption was mostly medical reviewers, medical monitors were typically working in these areas, but we didn't specifically ask that question. That's a good idea.
Folks in that audience, they were mostly stats programmers, I think, in that audience. So, and
yeah, that's true in the single day event. That's very true. In a lot of ways, what we were hoping that when, as Chris was saying, that during the Cincinnati single day event, because of the main topics of the event, it was a focus of a lot of folks in statistics and programming area. And similarly, the people that would respond to the other surveys that are members of the data visualization group would typically be either, in the programming area or data management and so on. But our hope was that each person representing a company would be able to bring to the table what their folks are doing or using, whether they be data managers or medical monitors. But that is certainly a good question to dig into a little bit more of use patterns, who's using what type of products and so on. Thank you.
Looks like there are no further questions here. So going once, going twice. Okay, I guess, Lauren, I'll hand it back to you.
Well, thank you all for presenting. It was great. Just to highlight again that our next webinar is on March 25th. So do look out for registration opens, and we look forward to speaking with you all then.
Thank you, Lauren,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheerio.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.